there. Thanks for popping in to my 5 Freedoms Life. I'm your host, Suzanne Klein, an educator turned entrepreneur with a 5 Freedom life and teaching you how to have one too. I remember it like it was yesterday. For about 10 years, when I owned and ran Right Steps, my education software company that I grew to 7 figures, I remember I would be in the shower sobbing and just asking my higher power, may I be led, to go through the next challenges that needed to be solved, the next problems that needed solutions fast. And so in a way, entrepreneurship, starting your own business, is no different from teaching. For both, you need creativity, a lot of grit, and some savviness, not to mention some good money prowess. And especially with teachers, we know that that's really important because you don't make enough. So I definitely believe that my next guest, who is also an educator turned entrepreneur and who just did a TED Talk on this topic, will agree that some of the ways those characteristics that I just mentioned are a combination of both entrepreneurship and teaching, and work for both, the creativity, the grit, the savviness, the money sense, that those characteristics actually carry you further in creating a successful business than traditional schooling and a business degree. So she's going to be talking about the importance of shifting our mindset to leverage the power of creativity to create a business and a life of freedom. She's going to be sharing her financial freedom that she now has after leaving teaching. And so I want to say a big welcome and 5 Freedom welcome to Jen Aly. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to share my journey, and I hope to inspire others.
Amazing. Thank you. So I want to jump right in and fast forward our educators to how you went from teaching all over the world to Maui, Tennessee, Honduras, just to name a few places, and now having a successful coaching and jewelry business. Can you shed some light on how that all happened?
Yeah, briefly, I was actually burnt out on teaching, and I was grading papers at a cafe beside a bead store. And so I would reward myself after grading hundreds of pages of papers at a bead store, and so it became a hobby. And then I moved to the mainland after teaching in Maui, and I felt really called to start this jewelry business. So I just dove into that and went for it. And then a few years later, I started coaching again, which I had previously as well.
Nice. I love that you were rewarding yourself, because I think that that's so important as teachers or anyone to practice self-care and take those little moments of reward. So thanks for sharing that story. You never know when the entrepreneurial bug will start biting you and get you going. So you are a money coach for creatives. I'm starting to hear this word creatives more. Can you share with us what that means?
Yeah, I mean, I let people define that if they relate to that for themselves, but a lot of my clients are creating something new. So they're not in businesses that are franchises or whatever. They're creating something from scratch, either a service or a product or products that they're creating. And it's something from their heart. They have a vision. It's something that's unique to them. It's higher risk as well because it is from their soul and their heart. And so my clients include writers, photographers, yoga teachers, fine artists, spa owners, architects, like this whole range of people who are more right brain leaning, from those kind of terms. Yeah, so I don't have any clients who are accountants. I help people who are more right brain to embrace business. I'm like kind of a bridge between those worlds, really.
Thank you for sharing that. That does help to explain some things. So I also am wondering too, you are a coach now, and when you were a teacher, I think like many teachers, I don't know if this was your case, but we don't think about hiring a coach sometimes. We don't even think, that doesn't enter into our realm. We think about coaches for athletics, but not necessarily one for starting a business. Did you, when you got started after leaving the classroom, did you think to hire a coach? Do you have a business coach, or did you work with one?
I've been coaching myself since 2003, and that's when I had my first coach. So I had already had businesses in coaching before this branch out. I have done like the teaching business a couple of times. And so I actually I got into coaching groups. Like I would join a group of people who were also growing businesses. And that's one reason why I still offer groups, because it's very community focused and more affordable for people. And I always have mentors, coaches, and because if I don't, things don't happen as quickly. So I always have that. I've hired writing coaches, business coaches, like a little bit of everything for myself, because it really helps me keep on track and be accountable, and to feel supported.
Yes, yes, so true. I was just going to say about the accountability piece. I think that's also another really helpful piece that a coach can offer, is that accountability. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So I actually want to shift our conversation now, Jen. But before I do want to share with our viewers that Jen does have a special gift for you at the end. So stay tuned for that. So we all need it and we all want it. So I know some of you ladies are thinking that I'm talking about shoes, but nope, I'm actually talking about what buys those shoes, and that's money. So Jen, you are the absolute perfect person to talk about money with, because you do a money mindset makeover. What exactly does that makeover consist of?
Yeah, it really is about looking at money differently. We have a lot of cultural programming about money, about scarcity, about like money's evil, and about even the capacity to make money without a job. So there's a lot of different mindsets that people come into being an entrepreneur with. And so it's a matter of unpacking those and supporting people to lead with their vision and their creativity, and serving others. So it's not about the money, so to speak. It's more about like what value you're giving, because that's how you get money. It's by providing value. So that's really one of the reframes. And I also offer a money boot camp for people that's 6 weeks long. That really helps people unpack and retrain themselves.
Oh, very good. There's a lot around money, a lot of issues for sure. And money is just energy, energy coming at us from what we give out into the world. So you have, speaking of money, Jen, you have financial freedom now with your 2 businesses, more than you had when you were a teacher, I think. How has your life changed from when you were a teacher to now?
Yeah, I love this question, and I hadn't really thought about it. But one of the things I love most about being self-employed instead of being a teacher is that, when I was a teacher, my schedule was dictated, my vacations were dictated by the school schedule. And, it's like you're in that rhythm of, okay, school's starting, summer's over, like that kind of thing. And now, like my least favorite season, which you may have guessed because I lived in Honduras and California and Hawaii and all these places, is winter. But I love where I live in Asheville, North Carolina. So I actually spend part of winters in warmer climates.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just, like this past year, I spent over a month in California. And so I can just create it however I want it. I don't actually have to be dictated by that schedule.
And you definitely have location freedom, because you can work from anywhere where you have a laptop and internet. You have financial freedom. You have time freedom, as you're talking about. You can take vacations when you want. So that's amazing. And you have people freedom. You get to work with people. So, and you have purpose. So it sounds like you have also a 5 freedom life. Amazing. Amazing. So unfortunately, we are coming close to the end of our time, but before you do talk about your freebie, I want to ask you one last question, Jen, and that's the same question that I ask all my guests. And that is, many teachers educators are afraid to take that leap, afraid of afraid of what people will think, afraid that the money won't come. Let's speak specifically to money. What kind of advice would you have for an educator who is not happy, they want to, or maybe they have something that is working really well in the classroom that they want to take to market, but they're afraid about making that leap because, they're missing a steady paycheck. They won't have the pension, they won't have the healthcare, and they have to figure that out on their own. I get it. I mean, I was there, you were there. So frame it around, and what kind of advice would you give around the money piece?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is like I'm not a big like take a leap and hope it works out. I'm very practical when it comes to that. I'm about planning, and I think the biggest thing is really like believing in and trusting. If you have a vision and you feel called to do something, trust that and nurture that. And it doesn't mean you have to go and quit everything today and that, you know, you're not following it unless you're doing that. Like, what can you nurture? How can you nurture your vision now, today, this week, something every week you're doing something? Is it learning new skills? Is it learning about business? Is it being around others who are doing the thing you want to do? Is it, you know, what is it? Like, what are some simple action steps you can take now that are tangible, that are showing your vision and your heart that you are listening and that you are ready to take action? And then I also recommend getting support. You know, as a teachers can do anything. If you can manage a freaking classroom and put up with the system, you can do anything. And you're organized and detail oriented and people focused. Like, you have so many assets. And so it's a matter of saying, okay, where am I missing the thing that I need to have to do this thing? And then go get that. You can learn. Like, you also can learn in yourself, a self-starter. So leveraging all those gifts that you have and following your vision in whatever way it looks like today.
Jen, I love that you're saying what you're saying, because it totally is mirroring what I'm telling educators out there, that you can start while you're in the classroom. You can take those small steps, and I have those action plans for them, so it doesn't have to feel like they just have to quit right away. And so I do believe in what you're saying about following, that you can learn piece by piece and following what is your passion and being able to pursue that. So thank you for that great advice. Now we have actually come to the end of our time. I can't wait to hear about this freebie, because I know it's going to be really helpful, and it's totally in line with what we've been talking about: financial freedom and money. So please share.
Great. So this is a good sort of starter tool, because it's called a money manifesto. And so it's actually this printable sheet of paper that has about maybe 15 different affirmations on it that can guide you toward a new mindset, and then entrepreneurial mindset as well with money. So it's a priceless, simple tool that you can post and remind you of what you want to create.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers. I know that's going to be really helpful. I definitely want to check it out too. So the link will be over there, and you can check that out over there. And Jen, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us. It has been a real pleasure, and I really enjoyed learning more about what you're doing. And your jewelry is beautiful, by the way. And I definitely would love to have you back on so that you can talk about gemstones and the different purposes that they have, and the different energy that they have. That's amazing. So I want to thank you, and for our viewers out there, remember that you can rewrite your future. Until next time, stay savvy, my friends.